Welcome, everybody, to another brand new episode of Game Time here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined this week by one of the main hosts of this show for quite some time. We're back at it after a few weeks off. Winston A. Marshall, how are you? Recovering from a tough Sunday for sure.
See, you didn't call me the last 5, 6, 7, 11 weeks. You waited until we have a monumental collapse to hit my phone up and be like, hey, brother, hope all is well. You trying to do the show? You ain't shit, John Rocha. You ain't shit.
Oh, Dallas lost? Winston, what are you up to, man?
Son of a bitch.
my team didn't even play this weekend. Yeah, so thank you for Winston A. Marshall for joining us here for this episode of Game Time. But the big news is we got a new guest and possibly new co-host hanging out with us today. She is someone I've met in Los Angeles. I've gotten to know her a little bit, had fun conversations with her. I know she's a huge sports person. She's an actress, a host. You might have seen her on the ID Network. She's a personal trainer, and she was the co-host of a show called The Boston Blondes that covered Boston sports there, amongst other things, in LA. The great Haley Kahn. How are you, Haley?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, we're happy to have you. Just because these are fans, they're new, they're getting to know you. What is your experience with being a Boston sports fan? I know you're a Patriots fan. I know you're a Bruins fan. You're a Red Sox fan. Where did this all come from, your love of sports?
I mean, you forgot the Celtics, so I have to stop you right there. We're a city of all of them. No, I mean, I grew up with my dad who grew up with his dad and my mom who grew up with her family. So it's a generational thing there. You're born and raised with them.
Right.
They become,
So you must have enjoyed this year when the shock of all shocks, the Red Sox somehow made it almost to the World Series. No one saw that coming.
No.
What was your experience with that?
Oh my God. Well, I was actually back in Boston in July, and they had just been on like this huge win streak, and then all of a sudden just started sucking. They just started sucking. And I just was there with my dad, who was screaming at a television half the time, just being like, you suck. And so I pretty much did not expect anything to come of that.
Are you born and bred Boston, or are you from one of the outer suburbs? Where are you from?
I'm from 10 minutes north of the city. So it'll start coming out now that we talk about it. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's there. I haven't lost it yet.
North of the city. I love it.
It's interesting, John. I've like you spoke so highly of this young lady, and I realized that this entire episode is a trap. This is a massive Admiral Akbar trap. You know how I feel about Boston sports teams. You were the number one Boston sports fan. Like, I've barely become friends with Roxy over this. And now I got to do this process all over. Like, John Rocha, I don't know what I did to you in the past, sir, but we're going to have some words when the camera's on.
I'm sorry.
I'll convert you. Don't worry.
I don't know if that's possible.
It's true. One last question, Haley, behind you, you've got a bunch of, are those medals? What are all those things?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you get all those for?
I am a 6-time marathon runner, and
damn.
So being born and bred in a place where the marathon is the biggest day in history. So I have been training for years. I've done halves. Yeah, that's my little collection.
Wow.
I gotta say, I went to see my first marathon this Sunday because I guess all three were on the same day because of COVID. Was Boston? Did Boston happen on Sunday as well?
No, that was a few weeks ago. But you had New York and LA.
They both which never normally happens. And so my girlfriend's best friend and then a mutual friend of ours, they both happen to be running one. This was her 13th marathon. And she burned an insane PR. She finished in like 4 hours and like 10 minutes or some shit, like something wild. And then our other friend, she just got really, really sick and went with like the movie Brittany Runs a Marathon and was like, I'm just going to do it. And she ran her first marathon. It was got me being like, do I need to start running? Because this is kind of cool seeing everybody out here doing the damn thing.
Yeah. At my age with my knees, I'm not running. That's for damn sure. I tried it in my 30s, and then chafing happened. I'm like, I'm not doing that ever again.
No thanks.
They don't tell you about the nipple chafing that men go through and the thigh chafing. That's no joke. Plus, you change your shoes all the time. You got to get new socks all the time.
Everything.
It's a commitment.
It is.
Well, being you mentioned being a trainer. I mean, I know that thigh gap typically isn't really good because it means that you're maybe a little lower on the. But that might be the only reason thigh gap seems practical is running a marathon. That might be the only reason.
The only way I made it through was something called Body Glide. It's like the stick that you use because girls, my thighs have bled a few times. Let's just being real. Yeah. Like chafing is a dangerous thing. And like the armpit stuff, it's gross. So you just buy this Glide stuff and you stick it on you and you're good.
There you go. She's a lady, ladies and gentlemen. She's a lady.
Keeping it real with everybody else.
Keeping it real. This is the show to do it on for damn sure.
Right.
Daniel Savoy was like, okay, Haley. Okay. Respect that. Respect. Haskell wants to know if you've ever run the Cow Harbor 6K run on Long Island. Have you ever done that one?
I have not. No, I haven't been to New York in many years.
I definitely just came out. I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that. I been in New York.
Fucking New York. Chris Taylor says Rocha with the nipple talk. Always, man. I mean, I tried it. I never want to do it again in terms of the marathon. But shout out to everyone who does, including Haley. So we're here to talk about sports, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into all kinds of things going on in the NFL. If there's a little bit of time, we'll touch on some of the NBA stuff and some of the college football stuff near the back end. Maybe I'll bid goodbye to these two and just take you guys to the end there with college football talk, because I don't think either one of these two are fans of it. So we'll just talk about all the stuff we're going to talk about there with the NFL and the NBA for sure, and get your questions coming through. Remember, the super chat Streamlabs are open. I'm going to pin it in the chat here in just a second. So send in your contributions. It's been a few weeks, so send in some love. I know you got some money saved up, so send in some love, send in some questions, stuff we're going through and stuff we're going to talk about here on the show for sure. So, and we will get into the Aaron Rodgers mess. I didn't want to lead with it because I want to get more people to come into the show, and then we'll hit it. So let's start off with our first story here, and that's with the Cardinals, the 8-1 Cardinals. Nobody saw. Talk about something people didn't see coming. How about these Cardinals without Kyler Murray? James Conner, they brushed off the body of James Conner. He got in here, he ran for 2 touchdowns, caught a 45-yard touchdown pass, and my boy, former Washington football team backup quarterback Colt McCoy.
No. You said you put some respect on his name. Former Texas Longhorn quarterback. Mm-hmm. You know what? You put some respect on Colt McCoy. Don't you bring up no Washington team. No one cares about that.
Well, he didn't leave one of my games, supposedly with an arm injury like he did in Texas in the national championship. Anyway, he led these Cardinals to a 31-17 victory over these 49ers. They were doing this without Kyler Murray, without DeAndre Hopkins, without AJ Green, and they lost Chase Edmonds in the first quarter. James Conner ran for 173 yards from scrimmage and even caught a touchdown for himself. He leads the NFL with 11 touchdowns. James Conner, the backup for the Steelers, who became the leading running back last year, he's now with the Cardinals and leads the NFL with touchdowns. Since you're our guest, Haley, I'll give you a first shot at this game. What did you think about what the Cardinals were able to do here against these 49ers, and where are we going with Jimmy G, and how damn good are these Cardinals for real?
I mean, if we're going off of that game, they're pretty damn good. The fact that they're out 3 of their best players, now they're 4th lost, but it's just incredible to watch a team be that resilient and keep going even without some of the people that everyone says that's what makes a team. And they showed up and showed what didn't. And I mean, Garoppolo, I have a soft spot for Garoppolo because he did. I have to. Like,
is it the face or is it the play? What do you?
It's everything. Let's be real. But like, it's everything. I mean, come on. And he was our backup for a long time. True. I hold a good place. But like, he did what he could. But their running game, their defense, it just wasn't there. So, I think Jimmy G deserves some, like, not all the blame. But I think the Cardinals showed up for sure.
He did throw for 326 yards and 2 touchdowns, Winston, that's for sure. McCoy, only 249 yards, but he was efficient. 22 of 26, can't argue that. The Niners are now winless in 4 home games, and they're just 1-8 at their new stadium. So you tell me, you come away from this way more impressed with the Cardinals? Do they feel more real, especially on a Sunday where we saw the Bills absolutely fold in on themselves against the Jaguars, and we saw the Chiefs barely beat a Jordan Love-led Packers team? Do you feel like the Cardinals are the unequivocal number 1 team if they can do this without 4 of their top starters?
I think that this shows it's hard to actually give them that much credit for this,
Really?
just for a couple of reasons. Only because they were already showing that dominance. I mean, it shows that they're serious the same way it showed the Cowboys were serious when you're missing key starters and you're winning with backups. I think that's
like
huge.
Week.
But there's a couple things that we just already have on the table. Before this, the Niners come in 3-4, haven't won a single game at home. They're not good, so that's the first thing. The Niners aren't good. The games they won just goes to show the teams that they beat needed some stuff to work out, or they're also not good. But then also divisional games that's the thing. Why are the Falcons able to beat the Saints? Why are the Saints able to beat the Bucks? Like, it's just, you play this team twice a year, maybe 3 times if you both make the playoffs. You know these teams better than anyone else. So I'm not surprised that it would either be super close or a complete trouncing by the better team. And that's exactly what this is here. So I think it is still impressive because, again, James Conner is on the running back deathbed at this point. He's in hospice care. And for him to pull this off is incredible. And Colt McCoy, unfortunately, has not been that good in the NFL. He's had some flashes of brilliance here and there, but he hasn't been consistently good. So there is still stuff to look in that regard, but they have been far and away considered the best team in football outside of the Bills. I'm more shocked at the Bills losing to Jacksonville than I am about the Cardinals beating the Niners. You know what I mean?
Right. And where do you take the Packers? Because the Packers, which we're going to get to just a little bit here, the Packers are the only team to beat the Cardinals. It was last week, I think, that they beat them before the COVID nonsense, and they beat them without Devontae Adams playing. So this is so interesting when you look at both of these teams and wonder which one is the one at the top of the NFL. We clearly saw without Aaron Rodgers, they still were able to give the Chiefs somewhat of a game here. So you're looking at this team like the Cardinals, and they've missed 4 of their starters, and they came out and stomped a divisional rival. As you said, Winston, you want to give them a little bit of credit, but not a lot of credit. I understand that. So like the Browns last year, you don't want to give them credit. We were talking on Game Time last year. What do you need to see from them to give them some credibility here?
What, the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they already get the credibility. I still think that they're the best team in the NFL. Like, I could have made the argument for Dallas until this weekend, but this weekend was full of parity. So, like, most of the favorites lost this weekend, like by a decent amount. Like, if not maybe on the scoreboard, by time of possession, by the way the collapse happened, things like that. So they get a stamp of approval because they were the only people that didn't have parity happen to them. Right. And the Packers are good enough that they could have taken one from the card. Like any top any team can beat any team, but any top team can take down another top team on any given Sunday. So losing to the Packers, that they don't get a blemish for that. I think if they had lost to the Niners, then we would have had a serious conversation about who is the best team in football. We don't know.
Or the Jets. Are you convinced, Haley, with this team? Are you convinced with the Cardinals? We're about to enter into an interesting part of their schedule here. They're going to play the Seahawks twice. They're going to play the Rams at home. They're going to play Winston's Cowboys in Dallas. And even these kind of frisky Colts that you don't know what you're going to get from week to week with Carson Wentz and that Colts team. So do you at this point, do you believe they're the top in the end? Do you see them as the odds-on favorite in the Super Bowl, or do they need to go through this run of games here coming up for you to be convinced that this is a team that is a favorite?
I mean, listening to Winston and really totally hear that. So I have to say that, like, as of yesterday, they're a great team and they're probably the top contender, but I do think they have to make it through these next few weeks. But then again, looking at the Rams losing, like they had a terrible game, 5 sacks, something ridiculous like that. Let's be real. So there's some, like you said, Winston, it's a pair, like so many random things happened. It was so weird to watch. Like all these things that you didn't expect. It's like, what?
Like y'all, it felt like if you were watching Star Wars, right? You made it through A New Hope, you made it through Empire, and then you go to sit down to watch Return of the Jedi, and Spaceballs comes on, and you're like, I mean, this is enjoyable, but this ain't what I sat down to watch.
My
God, absolutely. So I guess we have to see, because like for sure, I don't know it's throwing so many curveballs now.
That's fair. Well, they've got a few, like I said, they've got a few games coming up here. They're going to test them for sure as a team, and we'll see see what they end up doing next week. They've got the Panthers. I think they're going to stomp all over the Panthers, but you never know. Like parity this week. Who saw the Bills losing to the Jags? But then they're in Seattle. I think if they take that game at Seattle, if Russell's playing and Kyler's playing, essentially it almost is like, the next generation in Kyler playing the same kind of style as Russell. Well, it'll be a very interesting game for sure. I'm certainly going to watch that one. Then the Rams at home. So the next 3-4 weeks, I think is going to be interesting to see what we get out of this Cardinals team for sure. Let's move on to our next game here, and that's the Chiefs. As I was mentioning earlier, the Chiefs beat the Aaron Rodgers-less Packers just 13-7 there in Green Bay. That's it. 13-7. Jordan Love, who stepped in for Aaron Rodgers, went 19 of 34 for 190 yards with a touchdown and an interception. They threw the touchdown with about 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the game. But then eventually Patrick Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill over the middle on a 3rd and 10. Then they ran out the clock. And Mahomes was only 20 of 37 for 166 yards. Mahomes keeps saying that he thinks the team is getting closer to becoming good again. Winston, talk to me. What do you take away from this game? Are you surprised the Chiefs could only win 13-7? Do you give credit to the Packers for hanging in there, or is this just a big mess up all around for the Packers and the Chiefs?
I think you've got two things kind of working here. I think you're dealing with a rookie, so you can easily put pressure on him, and Andy Reid took advantage of that. Yeah. I think the Chiefs, this feels to me kind of like, I know it was a 2-year stint because you lost Kevin Durant and then Klay Thompson got hurt, but it feels like the Warriors fall the last 2 years before coming back now. I think this is the regression year of the Chiefs, mainly because Patrick Mahomes is still really good. Let's not pretend like he isn't.
Right.
But Travis Kelce, it seems like, has already gone over that tight end hill where he's still in the top 5 category of tight ends, but he's not that when Gronk was super elite, when Jimmy Graham was elite for 2 years. Right. Travis Kelce, I think that those days overall are over. And the only 2 major receivers he has are Hill and Kelce. And if you have to force it to them, you're going to make mistakes, which has been Patrick's season all season, is that he's had to force things to happen. And their defense, let's be honest, other than Honey Badger, typically is not very good.
Yeah.
For the Packers on the other end, only scoring 1 touchdown, again, makes sense. This is Jordan Love's first game. Right. The Packers defense isn't very good either. It's really that this offense is super electric. Mm-hmm. And if you know that the main thing that you're going to force them to try, like, take Aaron Jones out of it and make Jordan Love make a play, that's an easy way to kind of shut this down. So I think this was just veteran coaching on the part of Andy Reid to know how to exploit this weakness, because Aaron Rodgers, similar to Patrick Mahomes, can make magic out of nothing. Yeah. And if you don't have him there, then this is kind of what happens to this team.
I truly believe, Haley, that if Aaron Rodgers plays, Green Bay wins this convincingly. Yeah. I mean, this was in Arrowhead Stadium. They have essentially a rookie quarterback playing under center in Jordan Love, and they can only manage 13 points against this team. Not a lot of takeaways, not a lot of they unsettled Jordan, but they didn't get pick sixes all over the place. They didn't just completely browbeat this team. So is Kansas City just still not a good team right now? And are the Packers better than we thought that they even kept it this close?
I mean, I think it was a terrible game and both teams sucked, but like, I mean,
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Sterling analysis from Haley Kahn. Yes, go ahead.
I love it. That's like my overall theme for that game. But I mean, you'd think with Andy Reid being aggressive against a rookie QB that Kansas City would have done a little bit better than they did, that they would have scored more than 13 points in whatever way they could manage it, but they should have played better. And I know Mahomes said something about how there was poor execution. I completely agree. I think that on all ends of that team, because I expected a higher scoring game from Kansas City, at least for sure. Yeah. And then for Green Bay, I mean, obviously they have a rookie QB, but then their special teams was all over the place too. Like, let's look at that someone, who was it that touched the ball and then Kansas City got it back? Like, come on. That's just such a clumsy play to do, and I get it. Like, everything's happening, things are flying around, but like, I think in the end, that game just was just not a great game for either of the teams.
Yeah, let me ask you, did you sense that maybe Jordan Love was starting to figure things out a little bit on the tail end of the game here? He was playing a little bit better, a little more efficient in that fourth quarter. Remember, he had drove them down to the red zone before they'd scored the first touchdown. He had driven them down to the red zone before he had that interception. So he could move the team. There was a crazy possibility they could have won this thing 14-13. So did he impress you at all as he figured it out as the game went along, or because remember the Packers traded up for Jordan Love, or do you see him as a guy who doesn't fit in the NFL at this point?
I mean, I think it took until the fourth quarter, but I started seeing, especially on that touchdown, like he finally started getting a little bit of a rhythm there. Like, of course, it was the end, and I know the Packers coach came out and even said, I didn't coach this kid correctly because I should have been more prepared for him under pressure, and he wasn't prepared. And it was evident that he wasn't prepared. But I think if they had trained him just in the sense of like, okay, so you're going to get this much pressure on you, let's try and work with it, and just educated him a little bit more. I mean, we got to see him kind of feel more confident towards the end, like you said, but yeah, I don't know. It was, I feel for him because that's just a hard thing to do anyway.
Yeah, hard situation to be in. Winston, were you impressed at all in anything that Jordan Love did yesterday as the starter for the Packers?
I mean, I will give him credit that he put them. He got better as the game went on, as you would hope he does. You don't want to see the exact opposite, where as the game goes on, he starts to fold. Yeah. So it's good to at least see that he started to improve. He was starting to get it, it's going to take time. Right. But he's just not ready. But again, people need to cut their teeth a little bit. Like, again, this is what he wasn't drafted this year. It was last year, right?
Yeah, last year.
And then Rodgers got all pissy about it, right?
Exactly.
So
yes,
I think this is his opportunity. This was his opportunity to get some much needed experience, and not just preseason, but like full speed first team people coming at him. So we'll see, man. I don't think the jury's out yet off of one game against a back-to-back Super Bowl appearance, winning one of them team. You know what I mean? So I think we got to give Jordan a little. Even with the Chiefs taking a step back, they were still in 2 title games in the last 2 years. So.
Good point. Good point. And Mason Crosby missed 2 field goals. Don't forget about that. That would have tied up the score if he makes those field goals. So, are there questions to be asked here in the kicking game with Mason Crosby? I don't want to say that, but there's possibilities. But the big specter over that game, let's talk about it now that we've got like 73 people joining us right now. Please make sure you hit a like on this video as you're joining us. We'd appreciate it. But Aaron Rodgers, let's deal with it. I haven't talked about it on any of my shows. Let's talk about it on this show. The whole badness of it all, Winston. He came out, he got COVID-19. He claimed he was immunized in that press conference. Then he went on the Pat McAfee show and started crying about the woke mob coming after him. Then Terry Bradshaw laid into him. Then he lost a Wisconsin health situation, a company that was sponsoring him. But State Farm came out and offered their support for Aaron Rodgers today, saying, although they don't support his comments, they still respect his point of view and his desire to speak his truth. But for all that, they dropped 25% of the ads that usually go for State Farm with Aaron Rodgers. They dropped to 1.8% over the weekend. So they may have issued that statement, but they also did some brand saving by only having him in 1.8% of the commercials. But overall here, is Aaron Rodgers a Machiavellian genius here, going like, hey, I'm not going to get vaccinated. I'm not going to tell anybody. And if I get in trouble, so what? This kid's not taking my job. And clearly here was evidence that the kid couldn't take his job. So what do you think about this whole situation with Aaron Rodgers, Winston A? There it is. There it is.
He's a bad man, literally, because bro, you didn't need to lie about it. I think what is pathetic about this, obviously I feel how I feel about people getting vaccinated and whatnot. But what's pathetic about this, as much as I was going at Kyrie Irving, as much as I was going at Cole Beasley and feeling that they're really off base here, they at least had the stones to speak up. It is made very clear that Aaron did this because as he's proven multiple times now, he can be a little soft when it comes to critique.
Yes.
And so he decided to play word games. This is where like you have like a dude. It's like, hey man, like I can't tell my girl what I'm doing. He's like, hey man, you don't lie. You just leave out vital pieces of information. That's what he looks like right now.
Yeah.
He looks like that dude where it's like, oh, I didn't actually lie to you. I just told a slight different truth. And that to me is pathetic. Yeah. That is very, very, very sad. Now, on the other hand of this, the NFL knew because he filed his home remedy or whatever his homeopathic version of this was with the NFL. They said, sorry, doesn't count. You're considered unvaccinated. So they knew. Mm-hmm. So let's be real here. The NFL, as they are prone to do, love to talk big talk and then do the exact opposite. And that's kind of what happened here. They're the big talk. We're going to get out here and get these vaccines going on, which again, I'm glad that they did that. They've got around 90% vaccination or something like that.
Yeah, it's a high vaccination rate in the NFL. Yes.
Amazing. Yeah. But don't pretend like this shit is actually important to you and then not do certain things when people are, out here lying about things, and when people break whatever set protocols. I think about the small little party that the Saints had in their locker room last year and how they got completely destroyed and how Aaron, nothing will happen to him. So it's just sad.
That's an excellent point you bring up, and I'll swing back to Haley on this one. Haley, the NFL went after Kirk Cousins. They made a big deal about it in the offseason. We saw it. If you watch the Hard Knocks, they were coming after the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, of all people, was like, y'all better get vaccinated. Even Michael Irvin went out and called out some of these Cowboys. We saw that this was a big culture thing within the teams of the NFL. If you want to be with us and help us win a title, you get your ass vaccinated. And Aaron Rodgers, in a little bit of arrogance here, a lot of arrogance here, felt like he didn't need to do that. And he misled the media. He was on the Pat McAfee show again today, and apparently he apologized for misleading the media, also known as lying, but for misleading the media. What do we do with a guy like, do you think the NFL is going to come after this guy and suspend him for games or anything like that? Or do you think he's got some kind of legal justification here, so the NFL is afraid to go and to suspend him?
I mean, it's so frustrating to watch. I'm like, this is ridiculous, dude. I wish the NFL would do something. I don't think they're going to. I really don't think they're going to respond in any way, in any disciplinary way, which is super disappointing after watching what they did with Cousins and Wentz and Jackson. Everyone came after them. So like now who's going to, it's a pansy move that he pulled. And it's,
I think what you're trying to say is little bitch move. And I respect that you held yourself back, but I will say it for you.
Thank you.
That's what you're trying to say. I respect that.
She's trying to uphold a brand, bro. She's trying to uphold a brand.
Oh man. But yeah, no, I don't see how there could be any legal, like I obviously may have to like look into what legal thing he'd have that he prevents him from being disciplined or having action taken against him. I'm going to have to, that makes no sense to me, but like, it's a rule. You know the rule. They made this rule. So the fact that you're not following it and you're deliberately deceiving people should be punishable. But
he didn't wear a mask while in the media auditorium during his weekly and post-game news conferences. Packers have put other unvaccinated players on Zoom instead of in-person stuff. The crazy thing about this is people in Kansas City during the game, some Packers fans were holding up signs saying they stand with Rodgers. Running back Aaron Jones, whose father died on April 6th from COVID, did not question Rodgers' decision. He said, I don't think it's a selfish decision. I mean, there's guys across the league who are not vaccinated. And to say that they're not committed to their team, I think that's not true. He's our leader. So it's kind of crazy to me that the kind of mentality around this vaccination thing, these guys will put anything in their bodies without reading the ingredients if they get to play. They'll do it at halftime, for God's sakes, if they get to play. And all of a sudden, it's a vaccination thing that's an issue here. And apparently he's turned over 500 pages of research to the NFL, and the NFL was like, this is stupid. We're not going to, you're done. There's no kind of exemption here. I mean, Shailene Woodley is over here eating clay, trying to give him advice. It's ridiculous to me.
Well, did you hear what she said? People
please,
Magazine covered her Twitter. So she tweeted out, because she's tired of people coming for her man. She goes, Literally, y'all need to calm the fuck down. This is straight up hilarious. News outlets still grasping at straws to disparage Aaron finding random fucking men on the streets of LA and saying it's him. Now, this part is the weird part. I don't know why you gotta bring a man's dick into it, but she goes, I know Aaron's body very well. First off, his feet, no offense to random dude, but they're a lot bigger. I'm like, yo, why are we talking about this? What are you doing? Like, there's any other way to address this. You don't have to. What the? That Clay done blocked some sort of like connection. Some sort of synapse didn't fire. Like,
it's crazy. It makes no sense. And Winston, I got to go back to you on this. You're a resident black person here on the show. He quoted Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, don't get me started. I completely forgot about that. I forgot about that.
If you're a white person, I feel like you should not quote Martin Luther King Jr. ever unless you're quoting the I Have a Dream speech. You should never quote him. So why?
It's okay. There was a tweet. I want to say it was either by Jamel Hill or one of the boys from Jenkins and Jones that was essentially like, there is no desperation play by a white man that's done wrong than to quote Martin Luther King. And that is a fucking fact about like, you know, if the law is wrong, you should fuck off, dude. Like, come on. That's clearly talking specifically about people straight up being treated as less than human.
Yeah.
And you're just being lambasted because you lied about taking a vaccine. What the fuck are you talking about? On top of the fact that, once again, as has been made abstinently clear, you do not have to take the vaccine. You kind of look like an asshole for not doing it, but you don't have to do it.
Right.
You just have to then follow different rules because you made a decision for yourself, which is fine. Because him even being like, I'm allergic to the mRNA stuff of it. All right, fine. Then take Johnson & Johnson. Well, they had the blood clot thing. Dude, that was for like 10 hours. For 10 hours, they were like
0.001%.
You should tell him to look at the birth control side effects. You can get a blood clot more from birth control than the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Right. So there you go.
So the other thing that's funny to me, well, the vaccine might cause people to be infertile. You know what actually makes a decent number of people become infertile or like impudent is men, like men that are getting COVID, because it doesn't just affect your lungs, it's affecting your blood vessels. A lot of men are not able to act, their sperm count goes the fuck down. So what are you talking about, dude?
But exactly. And this idea of a woke mob, give me a fucking break. I'm so tired of seeing the default thing of the woke mob. Plenty of rational people have looked at this situation, like almost 70%, 80% of the country's back, because they're like, no, we want things to get back to normal. It's these nutbags led by Aaron Rodgers crying about personal liberty, and they immediately default to cancel culture or the woke mob. And it's like, what are you fucking doing? You represent State Farm. You were trying to be a host of Jeopardy. What the fuck is wrong with you trying to eliminate half the country from supporting you or following through? I mean, Haley, you were over here trying to brand save a little bit for yourself. So imagine being in a wider podium and saying things like this. Does this make any sense why he's choosing this route? Or is this about him being, as you said, a little bit of a pansy?
No, it makes no sense. And yes, he's a little bitch. So I'm going to go back to your way of saying it instead of my way, because I like your way better.
I respect.
But yeah, no, it's completely a bitch move where he's literally just crying about it. To watch, because he does have such a large audience that he can speak to, and knowing that this is the way he's presenting himself to people is just frustrating. It's like, the things you're saying, the things you're doing are influencing people because he has that power, because people who are at his status, they have this, like you said, a podium. The fact that he's doing this is just, it's disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I dubbed him Karen Rodgers, K-A-R-R.
Yes.
I dubbed him Karen Rodgers.
I saw that going around. Yeah.
That's what he is. He's absolutely crazy. J&B, if I can find what J&B said, it was perfect. He said he's something like soft, like a new croissant. He said, here you go. Soft. He said soft. Dude is like a freshly baked croissant when it comes to being sensitive to criticism.
Croissant. He's that soft that he says that hella for here.
Between him and Durant, I don't know who is more sensitive to criticism, but at least Durant gets the job done. So I don't know. It's so hilarious. So anyway, we'll see what happens. He came out with a statement that he might not play on Sunday. There's a little chance he might not play on Sunday. So don't be surprised that he takes his battering here, then turns around and gets cockier as the team keeps winning, because he was playing great for this team after that first game when they lost to the Saints, that insane game. He's thrown so far for 1,894 yards and 17 touchdowns in 2021, leading that team to a 7-1 record. So, I mean, right now you have all the negotiating leverage with the Packers, right? I mean, the Packers are not going to walk away from Aaron Rodgers where they're 7-2 right now with a chance to possibly go to the Super Bowl yet again. There's a lot they'll overlook. So I just wonder, especially in Green Bay, that doesn't strike me as the bastion of liberal thinking. So I imagine they're going to be okay with what Aaron did, just as long as he stays on the field. The problem is you don't want him to give COVID to other people. And Devontae Adams already had COVID. So it's just crazy, man. Yeah.
Rocha, you got to get this comment from Vincent Zawada. You either die Aaron Rodgers or live long enough to become Brett Favre.
That's damn good. That is damn good. I like that. Man. Anyway, AZ Babbage says Rocha pulled a Roy Kent earlier and I missed it. I hope he dies of the incurable condition of being a little bitch. Wow. No,
he's here. He's every fucking way. He's John Rocha.
I don't want him dead, for God's sakes. Anyway, all right, let's grab some of these super chats that have been rolling in and talk to people about their feelings here. Jughead said, greetings to you, John. Love and respect to you, Winston and Haley. Love and respect to you all from the UK. Oh, nice. Thank you very much. I'm still soothing my wounds over Liverpool's loss. See here. Pharaoh King says, Aaron was back on the show today. Hope he doesn't say anything stupider. No, as we said, he apologized. He tried to say, but yeah, go ahead, man. What were you saying?
He did one of those apologies where he was like, hey, if what I said hurt somebody's feelings, then I apologize.
That's apology.
That's a like, again, not to bring everything back to relationships, that would be like if I ain't take the trash out for a week. I kept saying I was going to do it. Now the house smells terrible. There are flies and shit. And I'm like, baby, look, if the time at which it took me to take the trash out offended you, then I'm sorry. How about you did wrong? I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, don't put fucking conditions on it.
Yeah.
Just be like, it is very clear that me lying to everybody was inappropriate and that I did offend people. I apologize for doing that. That was inappropriate to me and I should do better. It's not what he said. He literally was like, if I offended you, then I'm sorry.
Right.
Come on.
Haley, come on.
Yeah. No.
You've dealt with your Tom Brady mealy-mouthed apologies. Where does this lie in that context?
Look. Okay.
Come on. You're not innocent here. Deflated balls. Come on now.
To each his own. I won't go down that road. But at least Tom Brady never sat there and flat out deceived everybody.
Destroyed phone.
Come on. The phone? Haley, the phone.
Sure. That's in the past. But about a health condition.
He was like, no more texts. No, but I mean, Tom, it seems like Tom's not unvaccinated. Tom's unvaccinated too, Haley, but he seems to be following the protocols down there in Tampa Bay. Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of, if you know anything about Tom Brady and his crazy health rules and everything, you kind of already assume that that's going to be the way he goes. But the fact that he's taking the precautions and doing all that, but for Rodgers to not be doing any of that and acting like he's a vaccinated human being is bullshit. Yeah. And then I think as far as apologies go, it's lame and it should not, stop trying to pin it on someone else and make it take responsibility for your own actions
and this is what he does, Haley. This is what he does throughout his entire career, right? It's the Packers' fault. It's the NFL's fault.
Always someone else.
It's my family's fault. It's the woke mob's fault. It's Matt LaFleur's fault. I wanted to go out on that fourth down. He told me to stay on the sideline. So it's not my fault. It's never his fucking fault, which drives me insane because he is now, not only is he a Karen Rodgers, he's like the definition of what people say when they talk about white privilege. He tried to have his cake and eat it too, and then tried to invoke MLK as a defense for what he did. It's mind blowing.
It was one of those things that if you were playing Fox News bingo, you didn't think Aaron Rodgers was going to hit all 5 in a row without a free space as fast as he did. Like if you watched the whole interview. He nailed all 5 spots in about 90 seconds. That's crazy.
Oh God.
It's like SNL over the week when they had all those things in 60 seconds. And Trump was hitting them all. There we go. Alex Tornay says, considering all the drama with Aaron and Jordan Love's struggles on the field, do y'all think the Packers try to sign Aaron Rodgers in 2022, or do they go with Jordan Love?
I don't think Aaron wants to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Even with them doing well, he made it very clear at the start of the season, and I don't think that that's necessarily going to change, that he's probably out. Now, it just really depends on what's going on. Does he even still want to play football at this point? Was this kind of like I'll do this one more season? Is this a situation where, he looks at what the team does and comes back?
Yeah.
I think it's hard to say where we go here. And again, Jordan Love, when it's time, he'll step up, and there's going to be growing pains, but I don't know yet, honestly.
Yeah, Haley, what do you think? Do you think the Packers cut their losses here? Because they were on their hands and knees for Aaron all offseason. As soon as he said he didn't want to come back, and they eventually talked him into coming back. They even brought in Randall Cobb, the carcass of Randall Cobb, to still be part of the team. So does this make any sense? Do you think they'll keep him beyond? Do you think they're desperate to keep him to stay relevant as a football team?
I don't know. I mean, team's bottom line is to win. That's every team. Every team's bottom line is, I want to win. And I think with Aaron Rodgers, they win. Again, it's going to come down to if he wants to continue playing for them. That's a thing that he needs to figure out. But I think in the long run, another thing that's so frustrating about this is Aaron does win. So this isn't going to be a conversation that lasts for too long, because no one gives a crap in the long run, because they just want to see their team freaking win. So
most of the Packers fans. Yep. I agree with you. That's 1,000% the truth. And unfortunately, that's the truth in the NFL, even more so, where a lot of fans are like, I turned a blind eye if you get to look at how many Buccaneers fans had no problem with all the past of Antonio Brown, because he helped them win a Super Bowl. So it's just it's a fair point in the NFL for sure. The Jughead said, hi, John, it's me again. I've had my two shots, jabs, but I will not be taking any booster shots. I do not support vax mandates, and I support Aaron. Sorry, guys. Love and respect from the UK, guys. No, look, the thing is, you can support Aaron Rodgers being anti-vax. No one's complaining about being anti-vax. Yeah, do we agree with it? No,
not exactly. At this particular juncture, I'm not fighting that particular fight. You want to see that? Watch Blurred's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. Do that a shit ton. Yeah. But it's specifically why I am coming more at Aaron Rodgers than I did at Cole Beasley, than I did at Kyrie Irving, and we went at both of them. Is the lying element. You thought you were better than everyone. Just be honest about where you stand, and then we can deal with it appropriately. It literally, I don't know why I keep coming back to these weird ass fucking analogies, but it's the same way that when dudes are like, oh yeah, I put a condom on, but you poked a fucking hole in it. Or some shit like that. You were intentionally saying you did something and then being mad fucking deceptive. So that's the difference. It's not about fuck the vaccine mandates, fuck all that shit. He lied. Take it outside of vaccines, and it could be anything the fuck else. It could be I can't even fucking think of an example, but it literally could be anything else. He straight up just lied. That's the problem.
Right. His resume or something, or we see it all the time when jobs.
Resume, sure, that'd be great. That would be great. I went to a 4-year college, and I got the Heisman and all that shit, and then they're like, bitch, we checked the record. You ain't got no goddamn Heisman. What? So.
I'm sorry if I misled any team that I had the Heisman. Yeah, exactly. That's a fair point. So I hope you understand the delineation there, Jughead One. Totally respect your point of view. Everyone's got a right to have their point of view on this and a stance, but you've got to be honest as well and adhere to the rules within a job. This is his job, okay?
100%.
He's not a freelancer. This is his fucking job, and he's under contract, and he works for the NFL that is the company. So he has to adhere to that, just like we all do, unless you run your own business. Zach Woolley says, hi, John, welcome back. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that. Milk was woke. That's hilarious. All right, we do have a Streamlab that came through from Dwayne Turu. Thank you, Dwayne. He said, welcome back, John and Winston, and welcome, Haley. 3 questions. Haley's opinion on Mac Jones's ankle lock. Winston's thoughts on Dak and his great start but problematic last 2 weeks, and John's thoughts on Washington finishing ahead of the Giants. So let's deal with Haley, and we'll swing into that. We'll talk a little bit if you want to talk about the Patriots game here, and we'll still keep a little bit on the Aaron Rodgers. If any of you want to send stuff in, I just pinned the Streamlabs address in the chat. So, Haley, the ankle lock, I watched it. Pretty nefarious behavior by a quarterback here. What did you think about this? He grabbed the dude's ankle and twisted it as he was trying to get that fumble.
Well, I've been rewatching, and obviously I watched, and then I've been listening to a bunch of different thoughts and opinions on it. So, I mean, first of all, he was looking the other way. So he didn't even know what he was grabbing because he wasn't facing the ankle. So he didn't know. He just wanted to stop whatever play was happening or get a ball or whatever was there. I believe that he didn't realize the twist should not have happened. I don't agree with that. But I don't think it's a particularly dirty play. I don't think he meant. I personally don't believe that he did.
Okay.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Yes.
Winston.
Okay. But yeah.
Should we take a look at this play? I feel like we should take a look at this play.
I haven't seen it, so I would
let's take a look at this play. I can only play 6 seconds of it. So
did he go straight what's his name from the Steelers trying to call
a little bit.
Okay,
let's take a look. I can only play 6 seconds before they ding it. So he's looking back, he grabs homie's ankle, he's looking right at it, Haley. And then twists, and then
all right. You're right.
I mean, he's looking right at it.
Certainly, so I was.
What would you say to that?
No, I apparently was not watching the right thing. I was like listening to Tony Reale, and they were talking about it on Pardon the Interruption.
Oh yeah.
So I was listening, and Mike said something about him facing the other way, and then. I loved what Tony said, though, about how no matter what, a Patriots quarterback's always going to get more shit than any other quarterback in the NFL because he's a Patriots quarterback, which is fair enough. I know what has happened in the past.
It's the Donald Trump excuse, but okay, all right. I'll let you know.
Excuse me, do not put me in the same box as that. No, Thank you very much.
No. They're coming after me because I play for the Patriots.
Oh God, no! Oh God, I will not give you a direct answer, which is something that we love to do. But no, I don't think it was a particularly great play that he did.
Yeah,
so seeing it like that does not look good.
He's a rookie quarterback. You can tell he's probably desperate to stop him from trying 100%. To get the ball, Winston, but. It looks a little dirty. And, I mean, especially if you injure the player. He twisted his ankle. He injured him for the rest of the game. I feel like you should be kicked out of the NFL for a couple of games or suspended, right? Not kicked out, but suspended for a couple of games for that kind of behavior. Don't you think?
I mean, I think you should. And I resent that remark. I understand that there is a level of Patriots quarterbacks getting a little more scrutiny, but I would argue that the most watched position in all of sports that gets completely shat on, and like no, they don't want to give a lot of credit when they're balling, and they don't want to give, and they want to like pile on when they're doing terrible, is the cowboy of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
The quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, the Dallas Cowboys. True.
Had a minor stroke there. I apologize.
The cowboy of the Dallas Cowboys.
The quarter boy of the Dallas Cowboys. Just because with the whole America's Team brand, with being the most, probably the most brand recognized in sports, right up there with the Yankees and Manchester United and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is probably the most scrutinized position in all of sports. Hence why Romo got shat on 24/7. Hence when Dak was asking for all that money, they were like, you out your mind? So as an individual, Tom Brady, I would say probably is under more of a microscope than both of them. Right. But as far as just the position, I don't think people are checking for, like, they were checking for Mac at first. They're like, you drafted this dude with a dad bod as your rookie sensation. Right. And then he's been okay. He's moments of brilliance. Yeah. And he's been moments of being shitty. So I don't think he's followed nearly as much. But let's be real here. Homie grabbed someone's foot and said, where you going, motherfucker? Like, he was not letting go. Yeah. And it wasn't like I slept my foot out there and tripped you or anything. Like, he had homeboy's ankle. So that wasn't a good look.
I mean, that's something you learn in Pee Wee football not to do. So you can't claim ignorance in the moment when it happens as a professional. I feel like that's not the best route. I like some of these comments. G. Smith says Haley is sorry if she misled anyone. Defending that. JMB says, Senator Haley, please answer the commissioner's questions. Did he or did he not give the ankle code red? Did he or did he not? I love this. This is good stuff.
I'm nothing if not entertaining.
True, very true. Winston, a second part of that question, what do we take from Dak Prescott over these last couple of weeks and after that debacle against the Broncos, which we're getting into here in just a second?
I don't put this week on Dak. I think the whole team kind of failed here, and whether it's because Denver was super ready, maybe they were all on their feels because they let Von Miller go to the Rams, or whatever it is. It wasn't just Dak that was bad here. Everyone was bad. I want to say the only maybe consistency here was maybe the backfield, and that Elliott and Pollard had a decent game, but not enough to make a difference. But like Cooper dropped a wide open ball in his basket. He doesn't drop anything. You know, Lamb has had drop issues his entire career in the 2 years we've seen him, and he was seeing some of those happening. Dak did have bad plays. He vastly overthrew a wide open CeeDee Lamb for a touchdown. So there's plenty of moments here, but I don't necessarily put this on Dak. This was a team self-destruct here. So I hope this makes everyone look at what's going on, take a real hard look in the mirror. But I do think you need humbling losses if you genuinely plan on going the distance. Because if you think you're invincible, that's how you end up, no offense, Haley, the Patriots going 18-0 and then losing it on the 19th.
Oh, my God. Oh, yes. Nope. I know.
That was a...
let's not talk about it. That was a rough night.
I got to ask, which is rougher? That, the second time, or the loss to the Eagles? Which of the three is the most painful?
Yeah, right. The Tyree Hilma catch, the Mario Manningham catch, or the Eagles with a backup quarterback beating you in the Super Bowl.
Oh my God. That was all like
we've all answered these rough ass questions. This is rookie hazing. I'm sorry. You gotta
exactly.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
We're gonna make you stand up later on the chair and do your theme song from your college. Yeah.
Oh, good. I don't know it. Let's see. I mean,
hurt the worst. Yeah.
They all hurt. I think the Eagles one, I was with a girlfriend watching the game, and we had made a bet. And I had so much pride in that game because I just thought it was in the bag. So I walked in like all cocky and I was like, "No, we're good. And then we lost. And I was like straight up embarrassed because I was
What was your bet?
What was the bet?
Was it money or was it something embarrassing you had to do?
No, it was money.
Okay.
We're not mean to each other like that. Like she's a good friend. She wouldn't do that.
She wouldn't put you in a Nick Foles jersey all week. Okay.
Oh God, no. Oh my God. But she came at me with a bunch of shit and I was like, nope. But the 18-0, I got to tell you, that was devastating because we thought that was it. We thought that was like the perfect season. And
that was a Pantheon season.
It was terrible.
That was crazy. But the only reason why I ask is just from the standpoint of like, for me with that Eagles game, it was the trick play for me where Brady tried to do it and couldn't do it. And then Foles did it perfectly. It was like, just like kind of tap dancing like, ooh.
Yep.
Ooh,
that was
Lord.
True. That's a fair point.
I think I was on the floor in a corner at that point.
Oh, no.
And I'm a superstitious football player, so I wear the same thing. And I like have to have an outfit. I have a hat. I have like socks that I wear on my hands. I'm ridiculous. So I think at that point, everything was off my body and I was just in a corner. I mean, the hat and the socks, not the rest of my life. Let's clarify.
All right, Tushka coming in with a Streamlabs. He said, in case you haven't seen it, but for the best laugh this weekend, look up Justin Jefferson block. It is literally one of the most ridiculous sports moves in history. All right, I've pulled it up here. This is only a 3-second clip, so we should be fine with this one. Let's see here. Justin Jefferson block. Here it is. It's a windmill block, I guess. So I don't know what kind of block that is, but I guess it worked there, Winston. Boom! There you go. Coming in like a windmill block. That's a little weird.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
I don't know. Let's take a look at it.
Can you so you don't get demonetized? You want to tag me in that so I can try and watch it, because I don't know what I'm watching here.
Yeah, it's just weird. The block, the windmill of his arms. With the windmill of his arms, I guess. When you see it is right there.
Did they get a penalty for that or something?
No, it's just kind of a weird little block, and it worked for Dalvin Cook to get his yards. So they were just
homie just was confused. He was like, "Why are you swinging your arm?" Like, bro. So he did what you're supposed to do with bears. You're supposed to go like as big as you can, and then the bear's like, "Bitch, I don't want the smoke. What the fuck?" Like.
Hey, yeah, exactly. You gotta keep him away. That's what I'm trying to do. Billy _Atwood said, with Lamar's third double-digit comeback win this year, he's on pace for 5,800 yards of offense just by himself. Jesus Christ. If he gets the Ravens to the first or second seed, does he win the MVP, especially with all their injuries this year? Good question. What do you guys think? Is it still Kyler? I mean, they won without him. So that kind of hurts Kyler's case a little bit.
It does hurt his case. I mean, I think you're in I think the runaway favorite for the MVP, and it's the first running back MVP we've seen in a while, was Derrick Henry until that injury.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yep.
So now I honestly think it's a pretty even race between Brady, Murray, Jackson, and Dak being at the bottom of those currently, I think, just because with these injuries kind of up and down. I think you go Lamar, then Tom really close to him.
Yeah.
And then Kyler's under that. The only reason, like you said, Kyler, I thought was the runaway favorite until this game.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able to do it without him. But what helps is it wasn't a blowout. You know what I mean? It was a good game, but it wasn't a blowout. So that does still give Kyler some credit. Yeah. So I do think the Jackson is currently the favorite, but I don't think any of the four of them have really made a stamp that proves that they're ready to take this away. It was Henry was the one. Right. He was destroying teams.
Yeah. What do you think, Haley? Who did you have on your MVP radar? Is Lamar Jackson at the top now, possibly considering how much offense he's generating?
I mean, I guess I have to agree with Winston for sure, because I think watching, like, definitely Brady was up there, Murray was up there, Jackson's now up there, especially after this last game. And it's just he had a great game, and it showed, and I think he's making a name for himself, and I am interested to watch the rest of the season for sure, because like I don't have a top right now, like just I'm coming off the top of my head, I'm like meh, but
I'm with you and Winston. I don't necessarily have a top. I agree. Derrick Henry was starting to manhandle you. He's an unusual, right? Like, it's one of the most unusual running backs I've ever seen. He literally looks like he is playing as an adult against the kids at the cookout. It just is insane sometimes the way he looks running through those lines. Like, he can just grab people and throw them out of the way. It's mind-blowing. So the injury is just devastating. Not to mention for two of my fucking fantasy teams. So it's just a rough situation for sure. All right, let's see. We got Eric Kirby wants to know your thoughts, Winston, on the Cowboys coach here. Winston, thoughts on the Cowboys coach? All the folks on ESPN are giving him shit, saying he's a horrible coach. McCarthy, are you in that camp, or how do you feel about how he's been coaching the team this year?
It's not a good coach. I mean, this is very clearly, because the question becomes, what does Mike McCarthy do at this point? Because obviously Quinn is very much in charge of the defense. Moore is very much in charge of the offense. It really is the two of them. It feels like a lot of redundancy with him around. As far as what he is actually doing, because he hasn't taken any of the three sides of the ball. Like, it's not even like a special team specialist. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just, and all he has tended to do, he's not as useless as Garrett the clapper. Let's not talk about why did the Giants think that would be their saving grace? The most it might do for you is buy you 2 games against the Cowboys because he knows us. Yeah. But other than that, what was the reasoning behind hiring Jason Garrett as your offensive coordinator? Now, all that being said, something is working.
Sure.
Clearly. So I'm not going to completely write homie off minus this week. So it is what it is, but I'm not a big fan. I am very concerned he's going to cost us a major moment with his time management skills.
Yes.
I am terrified of that we're like on the precipice of going to the Super Bowl, and then he doesn't call a timeout properly, and then all of a sudden, we don't have time for the game-winning field goal. Like, I'm terrified he's going to do some shit like that.
Right. Any thoughts on this one, Haley? On McCarthy's coach?
I mean, I just watching, have to agree. So I'm like, I haven't been super invested in the Cowboys, minus the game against the Pats where they went into OT and then we lost. So that was sad. But I guess I'm just agreeing that from what I know and have seen, definitely he seems just to be there. So it's interesting. I'm like, okay.
He's like a new Jeff Fisher. Like if he has good players, they'll win. But if he doesn't, he can't really coach a team. I mean, look at what Belichick's doing with Mac Jones. It's fucking insane, man. Just insane what that kid is doing as a rookie quarterback. And they're threatening the Bills to win the AFC East. What? It's just insane to even consider and think about. All right, and keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go into the second part of the show here. Please, you see the stream. It's pinned in the chat, and it's in the description of this video and right on the screen as well. So let's move on to our next game here, and we'll keep tabs on the Aaron Rodgers thing as it goes along. We'll see what the end result is. Let's move on to the Tennessee Titans. Speaking of Derrick Henry, they won their game against the Rams. Detroit Lions' Jared Goff showed up for this game against these Titans. It was insane. Their defense stepped up here for Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill did great work, and they took care of business. They had 5 sacks of Matt Stafford, which is more sacks than any time. And Simmons, Jeffrey Simmons, got 3 of those sacks, and he apparently has more sacks than any Titans player since 2008, and they've won 5 straight games. Tennessee has here in this situation. Matt Stafford passed for 294 yards, but he threw his 24th pick 6 of his career. Safety Kevin Byard is the one who intercepted that one for 24 yards for a touchdown, and then had one later on in the game. All right, Haley, we live in Los Angeles. Or you live in Los Angeles. I don't anymore. Winston, you live in Los Angeles as well, but I'll go to Haley on this one first. Haley, everyone was talking about the Rams. Matt Stafford found himself. But now this is only a couple of weeks after they destroyed the Buccaneers in L.A. Here come the Titans coming in, and they absolutely manhandled Matt Stafford here in this game. What did you think about this? What do you take away from this? Do you think Tennessee's for real? Or do you think this is a situation where they just kind of rallied around the fact they didn't have Derrick Henry and the Rams overlooked him?
I think Tennessee's defense showed up. I think the defense is proving themselves as something really great. And it was really fun watching what they were doing. So I had a great time seeing that. I think with the Rams, I mean, being sacked 5 times, man, it's just not cool. Like you can't let that happen. And I think they had 12 penalties against them too. LA did something like that. 12 penalties. I'm like,
12 for 115 yards. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. So I mean, I think Tennessee did all the right things. I think the Rams could have done some stuff without Derrick Henry there, and they didn't. And I think, Tennessee definitely deserved to win that game. So,
what do you take away from this one, Winston? Are there some holes now starting to show up with Matt Stafford? The Rams are one of those fluky losses. They played a really tough team in Tennessee Titans, and they just didn't get the job done. Is that what you take away from this, or are we starting to maybe see some cracks in the Matt Stafford-led Rams here?
No, I think the Rams will be fine. I think, again, we just have to look at this weekend. This was not a normal weekend for the way that this has gone down. Now, mind you, the Titans are 7-2.
Yeah, right.
But again, that was led behind Derrick Henry being a monster. Right. I think what this does is this keeps the Titans, in my opinion, in the race. I still think that they will make the playoffs. I just don't have enough faith in Tannehill. Dude put up 143 yards and a touchdown and an interception. I don't have enough faith in him by himself. He is proven to essentially be like an improved version of Alex Smith.
Right.
Alex Smith never got the job done, and you know that better than I mean. It's sad what happened to his leg. Let's not go there. But as someone that played for you for a bit, Alex Smith was really no more than kind of a game manager, and if you put the rest of a really good squad around him, he could make things happen. I don't think that there is enough in the tank, even with that defense. There's not enough in the tank on the offense. Like AJ Brown is mad good. He's mad good. Julio Jones is still Julio Jones, but he's dealing with those injuries.
Right.
They are as open as they are because you have to throw 9 men in the box to stop Derrick Henry. If you can ease up on that, you are literally asking for this pass attack to start to slow down. So I don't know, man.
I think that's a fair point. 143 yards. He did run for a score as well, but still 143 yards. That is not going to be, that's not going to scare anybody, you know? And so you look at the situation, and the Rams didn't have Von Miller. He's still recovering. Remember that big trade happened a couple weeks ago. So he's going to be in the lineup for the Rams, but there may be a blueprint. You know, some teams play certain teams that are riding high, and that team comes in with the right game plan, the right blueprint, and then other teams look at that and go, okay, that's what we need to do, right? Nobody knew you could beat Tom Brady until the Giants did it in the Super Bowl by roughing him up, by getting through busting through that line and hitting him. All of a sudden, he looked mortal. Mahomes looked unstoppable till the Buccaneers did that to him in the Super Bowl as well last year. He was able, and he hasn't recovered, it looks like, since that Super Bowl. So you just never know. Maybe they found the blueprint here that other teams are going to follow to beat the Rams. We shall see. But then again, the Titans lost to the Jets a couple of weeks ago. So you just never know with this madness of the NFL what's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll keep tabs.
Just kind of looking at it. I mean, I know I see there's a diehard Titans fan in the building who's like, we got the number one, that O-line, that D-line, number one in the AFC. Okay, well, couple things. We've already talked about how some of these other AFC teams are legit.
Yeah.
Like the Ravens are proving that they are an actual threat. The Bills had a horrible game, but the Bills are still a ridiculous threat. The Chargers are showing up on a regular basis. Like there's a lot going on, but just for an idea of what's going on here. Week 2 with Henry, he himself 182 yards. Week 3, 113. Week 4, 157. Week 5, 130. Week 6, 143. So like, and then this week, the whole team put up 69 rushing yards.
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it. Clearly, that was the thing that was your bread and butter, and it's gone. Now, if he genuinely comes back and is his full self by the playoffs, if that rumor is really true that he's going to recover that quickly and does that, then all bets are off.
Right.
But let's look at Todd Gurley, for example, who was doing not these kind of numbers, but like averaging about 100 yards per game that season they went to the Super Bowl. His knee got injured, and then he was nowhere to be found, both the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl. No, most people do not recover that quickly from ACL tears and just go off. Now, I know Derrick Henry's a freak, but until you show me that he's healthy and can do it, I can't.
Yeah. It's a good point. And also, I mean, Tennessee was so desperate to help. They picked Adrian Peterson out of the old folks home and got him onto the field. My man had a touchdown, but he ran 10 times for a whopping 21 yards. He was only averaging 2.1 yards a carry. So nothing says I don't trust my backup running backs like Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson is who I need to go pick up off the scrap heap. So, but shout out to him. He scored his 119th career rushing touchdown, 125th, which ties him with Walter Payton of all people for the 11th most touchdowns in NFL history. Wow. So kind of crazy to think about. So Adrian Peters, shout out to you, Adrian Peterson. All right, let's move on to our next story here. I feel like we talked about the Cowboys, didn't we? Do you want to belabor that point anymore?
We didn't. Winston? We didn't talk about the game. We just talked about how it's. We
can talk about it.
We don't need to get deep into it. I don't need to relive trauma. Like that's okay. But
you just made Haley relive 3 of her Super Bowl losses.
You did.
I think you can relive a little.
Do you know how many times people are like, "When was the last time you smelled a Super Bowl?" And I was like, I was in elementary school, kiss my ass. So like, look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that this is just kind of a trap game. This is 1,000% a trap game. We didn't take the Broncos seriously because we know how soft our schedule is the whole year. Mm-hmm. So we got caught up in that mix. I don't think we realized how emotionally ready the Broncos were since they lost arguably one of the greatest Broncos of all time they traded him away. Yeah. And how that was probably going to emotionally affect the team losing their leader and really feeling like they need to prove something. We made a lot of mistakes, unfortunately. And I think it even showed after. It's not that Dak has lost the team, not even by a slight chance whatsoever. Right. But as well as Cooper Rush did, and Dak kind of in the middle of the week getting back into practice, it was clear that he was slightly off with everybody. Which isn't great. He had a QBR of 24. So I think what this does is let you know that the Damn it. I just opened one of the links, and it's the ESPN loves to play those damn commercials on full speed. So like all I'm saying here is I think this proves that the Broncos shouldn't be slept on. It's still a long season, so who knows if they pull out potentially a last wild card spot. I don't necessarily see it just because there are so many teams in the AFC that are good. Yeah. But who knows, they could sneak one in there. And I think this was a humbling lesson for Dallas. I think that I think we will grow from this. We still have the easiest schedule in football going forward. So I think that there's a lot going on going forward.
Yeah, here's the crazy part of this, Haley. The Broncos were up at one point 30-0. 30-0 against these Cowboys. And here's another part of this. Winston talks about being in elementary school. The last time the Cowboys beat the Broncos, 1995. Yep. They have lost to them 7 times in a row now, which is insane to consider. So what do you take away from this game? Is this just a fluke, a trap game, as Winston said, or is this an indication that the Cowboys, there may be some issues going on with the Cowboys, and are the Broncos, were they just a little bit more motivated?
I don't think we should rule the Cowboys out at all. I think they're a great team. I hate saying that, but I agree. And it's yay, fun. I think I just got stabbed by a Boston fan. Virtual. But yeah, no, I really think it was just like we've been talking about. It was just one of those weeks. I think it just goes to show that you can be on a streak, you can be playing that good, and then you have a game. And I think the Broncos showed up for sure. I think they definitely had some sort of thing going on that really brought it all together, be it the emotional drive, just being mentally prepared for it, just whatever they did, they definitely prepared. So I think both teams, it's going to be like, it was, it's fun. That's what makes the sport so cool, is because you have no idea what happens one week to the next. So like this week sucked. Next week could be like a blowout that the Cowboys have against. True. So like, it's just fun.
I think people are worried because, I mean, we've seen the Cowboys kind of implode in years past where they look like they're on a run here with Dak Prescott under center. And so people see this game and like, oh no, here we go again. But if it's a fluke game, it's a fluke game. I give it to you. But if next week they don't show up again, then there starts to have questions about McCarthy, as we were talking earlier in the show as well. So that could be an issue. But where do they go? Who's out there right now that the Cowboys could go get as a coach? I don't even know. So it's kind of a crazy thing to think about. Yeah. Go ahead. We would say one more thing.
Oh, no. I just think it's funny because like the whole when a team loses and then everyone fears of the implosion that's going to happen. I can relate 100% because that's the thing. But I don't think you can count on that in one game. From everything I've seen over the years as being a Boston Red Sox fan, every fan, Bruins, Celtics, and Pats, you really can't count on one game as the deciding factor. We love to do that. We love to run scared and be like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. But I mean, if a team is showing up, it's there and they have one bad week, they'll just show up next week. Like it's just, you got to watch. So you
could argue it makes them more motivated to show up.
100%. I've seen that too.
Yeah. I honestly think that this is like, I know I was tweeting about like, and the TV's off and like all this shit.
Yeah,
I get that. But like, it's you don't like watching it. Let's be real. Yeah. Nobody likes to watch that kind of thrashing. But again, unless we see this as a consistency, this is just an incident. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Exactly.
The Ravens let's move on to our next game here. The Ravens beat the Vikings here behind Jackson, as we mentioned here, threw for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns with 2 interceptions, though. He also ran for 120 yards on 21 carries. This is insane, Lamar Jackson. It was his 10th career 100-yard rushing game, which ties Michael Vick's regular season record he's already tied Michael Vick already. What is this, his 4th year? This is insane to see what he's been able to do here with these Ravens. They rallied from a 14-point third quarter deficit and survived an interception. I watched this game. The interception in overtime, I thought that was it. Minnesota's going to win this thing, but I should have known. They have Kirk Cousins at quarterback, and he loves to joke. So the Ravens won this thing 6-2 in the last few seconds of overtime. Haley, let's go to you on this. What do you feel?
Somebody is a bitter Washington fan. Jesus.
That son of a bitch. Anyway. Took $25 million a year to get us close to the playoffs or choke out in the first round. Get out of here, Kirk Cousins. Haley, what do you take from this game? The Ravens look like they keep coming back this year. Is there a resiliency here that you're starting to see develop within this team, a confidence within this team that they can get it done behind Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is for sure. And definitely Justin Tucker and his freaking crazy field goals that he pulls off. So like, I think they're just starting to find a confidence in this team behind Jackson and having that, and Tucker winning the game by field goal. So I think they're finding their way. It's interesting. So yeah, I mean, again, I am so biased and I'm trying very hard to just be like, no, they're a good team.
Well, you can still be biased and give analysis.
Exactly. That's what I'm doing right now. I am biased and analyzing it. So, but anyways, no, I think what Jackson's doing is great. He's showed up. So like, that's awesome to watch.
Yeah. You're looking at this team, Winston, you've got Hollywood Brown, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Sammy Watkins are all on the same team. Essentially, Mahomes would kill to have this lineup of his receivers. So you look at this team here, they just live and die by Jackson, but Jackson seems to be bringing them back no matter what. So do you take a positive out of this game and go, yeah, this is yet another example. This team's kind of believing in itself more and more. It's been a progression every year. They have certainly done better every year under Lamar Jackson than they did the year before. So do we see an AFC championship team kind of gelling here under Harbaugh's leadership?
I am genuinely concerned because of how much Lamar is balling. God help him if because he's playing the way that like a Vic and a Cam, like this feels more Cam for him to carry the ball 21 times like that and taking those shots. I am genuinely concerned if he gets hurt or catches COVID
again for a
third time. If either of those things happen, bro, I don't know if the Ravens are able to survive this because most of these wins, while very dominant, are all from behind. They go down and Lamar has to bail them the fuck out. And like he makes the team better around him. So my concern is purely if they keep Lamar healthy, I don't know many teams that are stopping them. But if Lamar goes down for any stretch of the imagination of time, this team might implode.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, I take them over every other team in the AFC right now.
Right.
Just because he has done it to other like potential title run teams, but he has to stay healthy and on the field.
100% agree with you on that. Yeah. I mean, that was the issue almost every year is his health and what he can take him. So, and the Ravens do have a very tough schedule coming up. So we'll see how they come out of this schedule. They may be the odds on favorite by the end in the next 5 weeks as a team that people are looking at to be in the Super Bowl this year, representing Baltimore. And no surprise, they've done it a couple times already. So, all right, let's move on to our next game here. Keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we're close to wrapping up the show. Please send in your last few ones. We're a little bit behind. We're going to try to rush through a lot of these things here. The Steelers and Bears game. We could not do a game time without the controversy from this is Tim Donaghy level controversy last night on Monday Night Football. Was this referee crew betting on the game, judging from some of these calls and some of these questionable decisions? And also, let me share this with you all because I want to make sure we get this onto the show here. The hip check from the referee. What was going on with that? When you take a look, have you not seen that? I missed that
too. No.
All right, let me show you this. So the player just what's his Marsh? He's a player for the Steelers. He had finished. He had done some kind of talking because he had sacked Ben Roethlisberger, and after sacking Ben Roethlisberger, he had been released by the Steelers the week before. So in a way, he was looking at the sideline and he was going, "Yeah, you shouldn't have dropped me. You shouldn't have dropped me." And they busted him for taunting. They said he was taunting 15 yards just for looking at the sideline and, gesturing in a way. But when he was running back to his huddle or running back to his sideline after the sack, a ref hip checks him. And as he hip checks him, he takes that as a hitting the referee and throws the flag for unsportsmanlike conduct on this guy.
You pull this?
So, yeah. I'm going to show you to you guys right now. I just wanted to share it real quick to everything that was happening here with this. So here we go. Here is it's 5 seconds, so I should be all right with this one. But here he is. This is so after this is the punter running on the field for the Steelers. Marsh is there. He's just gestured to the Steelers sideline, and he's running back to his sideline. Now watch the referee throw his hip into there and then throw the flag. What are we talking about? And then throws the flag.
Watch this again.
Look at that.
That's trash.
Right?
I missed that. That's actually 10 times worse than Mac Jones. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because if you think as a player you can kind of get away with that, whatever, it's fine. You're a goddamn official. You're supposed to be impartial. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Find this dude and suspend his ass. That's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to explain it away, Haley, that he was already reaching for his flag, which is why his body went into that position. That is absolute garbage. Yep. Clearly, this guy had some personal issue going on with whatever Marsh did and felt the need to hit this guy and then throw the flag. It's ridiculous. It's unprofessional. What did you think about this?
Well, just watching that, you literally watch him turn his hips and stick his butt out. Like you see, he doesn't have his hands anywhere near the flag. What are you talking about?
It felt like someone was at the club and they were like, back that ass up comes on, and you're like, and you throw it back, and they're like, no, I don't want that. And they go, you don't want that. That's a flag. That's a flag. He don't want me. He don't want me. Get his ass out of here. Like, dude, fuck that guy.
No. That's complete bullshit. Like, just watching that is just ridiculous. And the taunting calls bullshit. Like, that whole thing. Yeah. So dumb.
When you look at the taunting, you're just like, he didn't do anything.
No.
But I do want to share one thing, and that is Cassius Marsh, that's his name. He's got some great style, I would say. If you watch this post-game news conference, this is that's how you come out, son. That is a jacket, son. I respect the gold on his chest. This is, and the hair, the stringy hair, the whole nine. I want this guy on my team. Winston, what do you think of his fashion choices here?
I mean, homie out here in these streets, looking like a young Conor McGregor and shit. Like he's about to start flailing his arms and shit and walking out like homie ain't fucking around. That's some pimp shit if I've ever seen it. I bet you his best friend definitely is Macklemore. That would be like my final takeaway from this.
You're saying he's cutting the tags? That's what you're saying?
He's cutting the tags, bro.
Haley, thoughts on that, Haley?
It was so stupid. Yeah. I conference looks, man. They just kill me. But yeah, I mean, you can tell he lives in Chicago with a fur coat and everything. Like,
yeah, that's true. It's cold. That's for sure.
It's freezing. I mean, the hair, though, that's great. That's a style choice.
The hair is perfect. Yeah. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're 15 likes away from 100 likes. Please give us we got over 100 you watching us almost the whole show. So please, if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button. Get us over 100 likes for this video. We'd really, really appreciate it. How much time do I have with you all? Can we go a little bit over, or do you all need to roll? Let me know, and then we'll cut if we need to cut.
I can go a baby bit over.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, same.
Let's run through all these games real quick, and then tell me what do you think about. Chargers beat the Eagles. They stopped 2-game skid here. Justin Herbert took care of business, led them to a 27-24 victory, 356 yards, 32 of 38. The Browns somehow came back and destroyed these Bengals, the same Bengals that had destroyed last week, that had destroyed, who did they destroy? I forget who they destroyed, but they destroyed the Bengals. The Ravens. I think they destroyed the Ravens. They won. The Browns did 41-16. Then the Bills lost to the Jags. The Patriots beat the Panthers. Miami beat the hapless Texans. The Giants shocked the Raiders behind Xavier McKinney's 2 interceptions. The Falcons beat the Saints even with Trevor Siemian at quarterback. It was close. Matt Ryan threw 2 touchdowns there, and then the Colts crushed the Jets on Thursday Night Football. So which game stood out to you all as someone that as a game that you want to talk about, or a game that kind of surprised you or shocked you?
Haley, ladies first.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I was just going with my team this week.
Okay,
just
the Patriots. All right,
only because the fact is we've won, I think, 4 out of our last 5 games, which I've got to be honest, I did not think would happen. And I've been very hesitant to watch my games just for fear of losing my mind at a TV. But yeah, no, I thought that our defense really played hard. It was a great game to see that. And yeah. I I think with the Bills' loss also this week, it was a really it's putting us up there. So we're 5-4 now, I think. So I'm very excited to keep watching Mac Jones do his thing and get better, hopefully, as the weeks go on. I mean, he's been doing great, but he's not consistent. So that'll be interesting. And then defense, watching them. I don't know. I have to choose the Pats on my first day here. So I was like, nah, that's a easy one for me.
I respect it.
So
we'll see the Pats right now, real quick, they have the Browns next, the Falcons, the Titans, then they're at the Bills. They play the Bills twice in 3 weeks. Bills, Colts, Bills, then the Jaguars and the Dolphins. So there is a scenario where they're playing the Bills in that second game for essentially the division crown. There is a possibility here if things start to go south for the Bills a little bit, which is kind of crazy to think about. Winston, which game stood out to you, or which one do you want to talk about?
I think the one that probably stood out to me the most was, I guess, because a lot of them make sense. I'm not surprised by the Patriots beating the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers are very good.
Yeah.
And
Carolina is seeing what Sam Darnold can do and not do under center. But
no, you're good. I think as long as Belichick's there, the Patriots will very rarely be below middle of the pack, if not in the top. So that doesn't surprise me as much. The Browns make sense because they got rid of apparently what was their main source of drama.
OBJ.
With that being gone, I think that lifted a massive weight off their shoulders. I just want to say the game I probably want to talk about the most is the Giants and the Raiders. I'm not surprised. You just had two of the most massive, drama-filled stories you could possibly have. And this whole season has been riddled with drama. First Gruden, then Ruggs, and then this corner, this other number one draft pick or first round draft pick, threatening people with guns on camera and shit, and getting cut as well. There is nothing but turmoil in that locker room. So I am not surprised that they would lose, but the Giants are so bad. I'm surprised that this is kind of how this went down. But it is what it is, man. Because especially without if they have what's his name, Barkley, if he's healthy,
Saquon,
he's playing.
Yeah.
I'm not as shocked. But you still don't have Barkley,
right?
So I'm shocked that even with all the drama, y'all couldn't handle the Giants. It was kind of weird to me, but still two professional teams.
For me, it's the Saints game. I picked up Trevor Siemian on one of my fantasy teams because of Rodgers going out with the COVID. So I was like, let's see what happens with this guy. And halfway through the game, this was not looking good. But then the Saints found a way to come back. They made this thing a game. They almost won this game. So, yes, the Falcons aren't a great football team. But the fact that he's able to take essentially his second stringer and with Taysom Hill there on the sideline and able to lead this team possibly to a victory over the Falcons, I think speaks volumes, once again, to Sean Payton as a coach. So this is a team that's not that far away from competing. The sad truth is they were going to be there at the end with Jameis, which is kind of crazy to think about. So will they figure things out with Siemian? I don't know. But the fact that he showed up as much as he did yesterday really surprised me overall. It was 27-25. It was a close game. So if the Saints can maybe figure out how to get him a little more, knowledgeable of the playbook, knowledgeable of what they're trying to do as an offense, there could be a possibility of the Saints sneak in on a wild card here and do some damage in the playoffs. You just never know with Sean Payton as a coach. So.
They need a true number one, dude.
Yeah.
You can't overwork Kamara like that. And if Michael Thomas is out for the season, then maybe they need to make a big push. If OBJ really has something left in the tank and you can get his diva status under control, maybe you need to lock that down, because who's their number one receiver? I can't find it. They've got some old favorites and Kenny Stills coming through, and some of these young guys can do a little bit. Right. But you got to find a number one that can help Kamara out, man.
That's a good point. Yeah, because Kamara led them both in receiving and rushing in the game yesterday. So yeah, that's a fair point, Winston, for sure.
You're going to see him, and then he's going to get injured, and then he's not going to be able to finish the season out. You got to be careful.
Yeah. And for those of you who picked up Cordell Patterson on fantasy, aren't you enjoying your fantasy year? That guy produces, son. So shout out to him. 126 yards on Sunday. All right, one last thing. The Ben Simmons situation, the room, and we have Haley on the show. So Haley, do you want Ben Simmons in Boston? There are rumors that he's going to be traded to the Celtics, and we had Jaylen Brown go down with that hamstring injury yesterday. So what do you think? Do you want Ben Simmons in Boston?
I mean, I think he could help for sure. But I think with some of the not drama, I think that everyone getting the situation seems interesting.
Okay.
As far as like him seeking mental help, but not going through the organization, and the lack of communication, and seeming that he's like trying to pull some strings to like keep a contract but not play seems interesting. So I'm not entirely sure how beneficial he'll be if this is still a continuing factor, if he's still going to seek help for his mental health going to Boston, if he's going to play right away, if it's going to make a difference. I mean, obviously with the hamstring injury, we definitely could use some help, but I don't know if that's the right move. So still to be determined.
Yeah, what do you think about the situation here, Winston? I mean, this is a tough position the Sixers are in because they were very clear that they did not want this guy back. Certainly Rivers and Embiid said all the comments that they said, but then they kind of welcomed him back, and then he started pulling all the stuff he started pulling in practice, and now it's a mental health issue, which you've got to be sensitive about now. Well, you should have been sensitive about for decades in the past, but really sensitive now because people are more aware of that stuff and will ding you for it as an organization. So what do do they have to play this whole thing out? And if they trade him, do they have to trade him without any malice? Like, what do you think the Sixers are going to do here in this situation with Ben Simmons?
I'll tell you this. This sounds weird to say. I genuinely hope that Ben Simmons has a legitimate mental health issue.
I agree with you.
I do not wish I don't wish any problems, but I don't wish mental health problems on anyone.
Yeah.
But from someone that has been dealing with my own anxiety and depression for years now, the number of people, especially athletes, that are having that and are really having this come to Jesus, if he is making this shit up and he's going full Aaron Rodgers here and lying about some shit, I'm going to be fucking furious because you essentially were trying to use this as a scapegoat for all the bullshit you've been pulling. Where again, you were being rightfully criticized about how your game could be better. The team needs you to step up. But you think you're that shit. It sticks with me, the story that before Kobe passed, he was like, yo, if Ben Simmons can learn to shoot, this kid could be unstoppable. He could surpass me. He said that. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Clearly you're not. So it sounds fucked up to say, but I genuinely hope that there is something going on that can then be treated, and that hopefully this guy's career can get back on path, whether it be with the Sixers or with Boston or wherever he ends up. But if he's making this shit up, fuck him.
1000% agree with you, bro. As someone who has dealt with his own depression for years as well, and mental health stuff that I've dealt with, when people you see these people are starting to default to that as an excuse, and that is an insult to those of us who legitimately deal with it all, in our lives, or have friends who've dealt with their family members. So I hope this isn't the issue. Look, getting criticized is part of the job of playing sports. It is. That's never going to go away. Ask LeBron. If anyone should have seen a mental health person, it's LeBron for the amount of crap he's taken over the years as a player. So, I mean, Paul Pierce leading the way. No offense, Haley. I mean, these things that he's taken, he's managed to overcome them. Ben Simmons, possibly a little more sensitive in the situation. There's nothing wrong with that. So if this is legitimate, then please seek the help and get what you need and maybe come out a little bit better. And who knows, if this is the issue, dealing with his mental health may affect his shot, affect his game, make him a better player. And in the end, all the promise that he thought about himself will come to fruition as long as he's telling the truth. Because I agree with Winston. This reeks a little bit of skepticism for those of us who deal with it. So, yeah. Haley, any final thoughts on that?
No, I completely agree. I didn't want to say it, so I appreciate you guys saying it so thoughtfully.
So you sense that too. You sense
I
that
do.
too.
I do. And it's, as someone who definitely struggles with it too, that would suck if
he was lying about it.
Yeah, 100%.
I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers even utters those two words, I think they should set him. No, I shouldn't say anything. All right. Anyway, there we go. That's this episode of Game Time. Thank you all so much for watching. Sorry we didn't get to the other stuff we had planned, but we got to as much as we could. We kind of keep the show to an hour and a half. Feel like that's a little bit better for people to consume overall. It's easier for me to put chapters on. That's for damn sure. So thank you all so much for joining us here live, and especially a big thank you to Haley Kahn. Thank you so much, Haley. So great to have you on the show.
Killed it, girl.
Thank you.
We had so much fun with you.
It was so much fun.
Please tell people where they can follow you and everything you got going on. Please promote.
Yes, yeah. You can follow me at Haley_Kahn on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, connect with me there. Love to chat. If you have any questions or anything, reach out.
Are the Boston Blondes coming back or any version of that coming back? Or are you going to put that on the shelf for now?
I think it's on the shelf. She moved to North Carolina, so we're having a hard time. Okay. I know. The other blonde, she left me. So, yeah.
Right. Well, I'm sure something new will be coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, follow her on all her social media. Give her some love. Compliment her. Tell her how great she did on the show. You know, it's always great. You guys are awesome. You always give love to the guests. So, give some love to Haley Kahn as well. Winston A., so great to see you, brother, man. Thank you so much. Please plug away.
Yeah, you know where to find me at the Swaggy Blurred, wherever Swaggy Blurreds are sold, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Blurreds in the Hood tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific. Jay and I will be breaking down a lot of things that were going on over the weekend. We'll do a little talk about Eternals. We both have seen the film at this point, lots of good stuff. So don't miss that. Again, tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time will also be on Thursday as well. And then Citizen, tomorrow I will be making sure you know about the naked people with machetes in your neighborhood. So if you have the app, look out for me. I might be in your city letting you know about an alert going down. That's pretty much it.
I love it. Awesome. Real quick, I guess I missed this super chat. Real quick, John gets some BS calls in my Steelers' favor for sure. But how about the 11-year vet lining up offsides 3 times, including 1 or 2 on the final possession? Fair criticism. That's for sure, man. You could bash him for that, John. And one last Streamlab came through from Sean Barrett. So it's a big one. So I'm reading it. You guys need to put some more respect on Daniel Jones's name. You've been trashing him for weeks. He started 0-3. He's now 3-6. Now, I hear what you're saying real quick, but Daniel Jones threw a whopping 110 yards in that game. What respect am I supposed to give him? 110 yards, Sean. Winston, Haley.
Wait. What do they want? We're talking about who now?
They want us to give respect to Daniel Jones because
who's that?
The quarterback of the Giants.
No. Who's that? What are you talking about?
Sean Barreto, one of my producers and
No, not Sean Barreto. Who is this guy we're talking about? Daniel Jones. Who is that? What are we talking about here? I'm sorry. I thought this was a sports show talking about professional players. I didn't know we were talking about random scrubs that are allowed to put on uniforms and lead teams. I didn't understand that was a thing.
Oh.
Show me that Daniel Jones is good, and I'll give you all the respect you want. I've given Baker Mayfield his flowers now. He's earned them.
It's true.
Baker Mayfield has earned his flowers, man. I like Justin Herbert. He gets his flowers. What has Daniel Jones done that deserves my respect? And on top of that, you were asking a Cowboys fan to respect Daniel Jones.
And a Pats fan.
That's what I'm saying. I hate to admit it. I have to give respect to Eli Manning. The man won 2 goddamn Super Bowls. And he embarrassed the Cowboys on the regular. I got to put respect on his name. I got to put respect on Brady's name. We have still yet to beat Brady. That is also embarrassing. But what the fuck I got to respect Daniel Jones for?
No.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Haley, any thoughts on Daniel Jones?
I'm letting Winston mic drop this one. He's got it. There you go.
Here's Daniel Jones' stats in the last 5 games. Against Dallas, a whopping 98 yards. Now, he got injured, left that game, but 98 yards. Against the Rams, 242 yards and a loss.
3 interceptions. Don't forget the 3 interceptions.
That's right, 3 interceptions. Then Carolina, 203 yards. Then Kansas City, and they lost to a terrible Kansas City team. A whopping 222 yards and then 110 yards against these Raiders. So he needed a quarterback with 2 interceptions to win the game.
Look at your boy. Look at your boy.
Is he going crazy?
He was on any of your TV gushing over right now. Bullshit. I'll take Dak Prescott 20 times out of 10 over fucking Daniel Jones.
Tyler Heineke is better than Daniel Jones and even beat him in a game 1-on-1 earlier this year. Give me a break. Tyler Heineke is better than Daniel Jones.
You want Mac Jones and Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather park that Big Mac truck right inside Gillette Stadium than I would a Daniel Jones. Get the fuck out of here. Ankle twisting and all. I would rather him Kurt Angle everybody than take Daniel Jones over here.
I'll take Davy Jones. He's been dead and in the water for 1,000 years.
Holy shit. This dude said Davy Jones Oh, Sean did this to himself. He did this to himself.
Sean, you brought this violence on yourself. All right, let's get out of here. You can follow me at Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit a like on this video and share it on your social media as well, so more people can get involved with Game Time and come hang out with us every week for this fun show. We are not ESPN. That's for
Rocha. I think you just got a third dislike, and it was definitely your producer.
It was, Sean. I wouldn't doubt it. We got Geek Buddies coming this week. The Jedi Way comes this week as well. Top 10 is out now, the most current episode. And then we got Cinephiles coming up live on Sunday, talking Drunken Master 1 and 2. So come and get aboard everything we do here on the Outlaw Nation and the Cinephiles and the Top 10 and the Geek Buddies. So follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. Once again, big shout out to Winston A and big shout out to Haley Kahn, especially for taking the time. We'll talk to you guys next time. Take care of yourselves. Be well. And we'll see you on the next live episode of Game Time.